Hey everyone, are you ready to talk about a really terrible NES game? Now if you ask people to name a really hard NES game from the 80s, most people are going to say something like Contra. Now I wouldn't disagree with that sentiment. If you did experience Contra as a child, as I did, the game's hordes of enemies and one-hit kills did make it seem like an insurmountable challenge. I remember watching older kids play the two-player game and inputting the famous Konami code to get 30 lives, only to barely reach the last level. But looking back, I think I can say that before Contra 3 and the later games, which in my opinion largely became boss rushes, the original Contra games aren't quite as difficult as everyone thought. They're tough but fair. Since they had no time limit, in many cases, if you're patient and memorize basic features of the levels, you can make it through. More importantly, even though your player can die in one hit, he's also extremely mobile and can fire in 8 directions at practically any time. Now imagine how difficult Contra would have been if your character wasn't that mobile, if he couldn't fire in 8 directions, if there were common enemies that were bullet sponges, and, best of all, you have limited ammo. Yeah, that's right, limited ammo. Well, guess what, folks? Someone actually made that game, and it sucks. Powerfully. Meet Amagon. And just look at that box art. Wow, that looks exciting. Got a dinosaur over here and weird shit going on here. So he plays this redheaded guy with the carbine here. Who is this guy? Well, according to the manual, he's a Marine.
He's a Marine. First to fight, he's loyal. Honor, courage, commitment. Core values simplify. Oorah, he's a Marine.
Okay, that was weird. The manual says Amagon, yes, that's his name, is the most decorated Marine. No shit. Move over, chesty puller. Now, you can't expect much in the way of storytelling from a video game that released in 1988, but basically Amagon's sent to check out an island that's rumored to have some kind of alien presence on it. Not too different from the original Contra when you think about it. One funny thing about the game is in between levels you get these hilarious and largely useless tips. You could almost say it's an example of the first loading screen gameplay tips, but why would you bother? With that out of the way, let's talk about why this game is so damn hard. Yes, it's typically one-hit kill, and yes, your character can only shoot horizontally, and worst of all, you can actually run out of ammo and have to use your rifle like a club, which gives you zero chance against the more bullet-spongy enemies. But there's something else that makes Amagon even harder. See, in most games of the era, all enemies usually have set attack patterns and abilities the whole game. But on Amagon, almost everything is random. Many enemies have multiple attack patterns, or they don't fully reveal what they do until you approach and they flip out, usually killing you in the process. Also, it plays this really annoying music when you die. And you better get used to this because you're going to be hearing it a lot. There's some uniformity in where you will encounter certain enemies in the same stage, but there's a lot of randomness, and things can change not only when you're playing a new game, but when you die as well. Unlike Contra, you can't just continue where you are when you die. You get sent back to either the beginning of the level or a checkpoint. Now you have one advantage over your one-hit wonder Contra guys, and that is Amagon's ability to transform into Megagon. This is the only way you can actually get a health bar and get some respite from getting killed at the drop of a hat. But there's just one problem with this. See, the way you transform is by getting this special key item that's randomly dropped by enemies, usually near the middle to the end of the stage. But you also have to have enough points. Understanding the system is a lot like trying to understand the US tax code. Here's how the manual explains it. There are 2 conditions necessary to allow transformation into Megagon. First, you should look for and get the Mega Key. Second, you must have at least 5,000 points. Then you can transform into Megagon by pressing the select button anytime you want. But if Amagon is eliminated before transformation will be converted into Mega Points. At this time, converted score points will be deducted from the maximum Mega Points obtainable is 14. Long story short, you want to have lots of points before transforming because you'll need sufficient health at the end of the stage. Every time you use one of Megagon's laser beams, it takes off health. Just how the hell is this a laser beam? It's not even a beam, it's a wave. You can punch enemies, of course, but then you're likely to get hit and lose health as well. Beating bosses as Amagon can be next to impossible, so transforming at the right time is essential, otherwise you'll transform back and not have enough points to transform with enough health. And let's see, what else can I say about this game? Oh yeah, it's got this really crappy music. Sounds like it was composed by some divorced alcoholic birthday clown on his Casio keyboard. Anyway, there's not much else you can say about Amagon. It's just a weird, ridiculously hard late 80s NES game. If you're into games like that, you'll definitely find it very challenging, and while it does definitely cross the line into unfair territory from time to time, it's not like impossible unfair or broken unfair. I barely managed to get to the last level as a kid, and I used save states to beat it recently just so you could see what kind of ending you get for all that frustration. So, spoilers. Yep, that's it. Wait a second. Amagon. He's a Marine.
He's a Marine.
Yeah, I know, I just said that. Hear me out. He's a Marine who fights hordes of supernatural enemies, transforms into a superhuman who can destroy his enemies in hand-to-hand combat. Wait, could he really be? Oh no. Hey folks, I hope that was entertaining and enlightening for you. I kindly ask you to click like and subscribe, or go one better and donate to my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. See you next time.